Hi ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching my video. Now if you are taking accounting for IGCSE or O levels, this will be in unit 3.2 of your syllabus. Otherwise, if you're just here to get a basic knowledge on how to correct errors in financial statements or in the trial balance, then you have come to the right place. So the objective of this video is to get you to understand the errors identified after the preparation of a trial balance and the steps to actually correct them. Okay, so remember, understanding the errors and how are you going to correct them. Now, errors that are not revealed in the trial balance is the most dangerous type of error. Why? Because your trial balance is balanced here. So when it is balanced, you will think that, oh, okay, there is no error. Okay, technically my debit and my credit is equal. So, yay, no error. Boy, you're wrong. Okay, so you see, there are errors, right? So I'm going to go with the error of commission. So the first error is error of commission. So remember the word here, commission. It means that the entry is made in a wrong account but of the same class of account. What do you mean wrong account but same class of account? Now, classes of account, we have purchases, okay, we have expenses, we have assets, we have revenues, we have liabilities, and we have sales, right? So these are all different classes of accounts. Now, wrong account means, for example, it could be under asset account. Okay, it belongs in the same class of account but different, same class, different accounts, like cash and bank. Okay, so cash and bank are different accounts but it belongs in the same class of account. Now, look at the situation. There is a payment of $100 made to Boboy by check. So you actually paid Boboy, right? By check. You paid Boboy by check. However, you have recorded Gurgle as the error. So here, as you can see, you have recorded Gurgle instead of Boboy. So what you should do now is, right, do not change anything that is correct. So the payment was made by check, which means the bank is correct. So you do not change anything, that leave it there, do not touch it. What you have to touch is the error where it's supposed to be Boboy, which you have recorded as Gurgle. So it is a debit. First step, you have to remove the Gurgle. So debit, remove it, becomes credit. Okay, take the whole thing, Gurgle. Now your debit is empty. So the debit is now empty because you have removed the Gurgle from the debit. You make Gurgle into a credit. So now there is an emptiness there. This is where you correct the actual thing. So record the correct account at where it was empty. Right, so now you have Boboy and you have Boboy. You have the check and the bank is correct. Gurgle, debit and credit is like positive and negative. You have eliminated it. So no longer there is any Gurgle here. Cool. So this is, guys, error commission number 1. Let's move on to the next error. It is called error of principal. Now, how is principal different than commission? Now, principal is the entry was made in the wrong class of account. So we mentioned about the wrong class of account just now, where we have purchases, expenses, asset, revenue, liability, and sales. So these are all different classes of accounts. You have accidentally recorded expenses into asset, or accidentally recorded asset into expenses, or accidentally recorded liability as revenue. So these are called error of principle when the entry was made in the wrong class of account. Now look at the situation here, right? There is a repair of vehicle, right? It is a repair of vehicle. This is an expense. It is costing you 500 and it is paid by cash. So how did you record this? You have recorded vehicle and cash. The cash is correct, okay? However, this vehicle here is an asset. So it is wrong because it's supposed to be an expense, not an asset. So the way you correct this is the same as how you did with commission, right? If it is correct, you do not change anything. Do not change anything if it is correct. Now, vehicle is wrong. Remove the debit by recording it at the credit side. Now you have already zeroized your vehicle. However, your debit side is now empty. So record the correct account at the debit side, which is the repairs. Alright, so there you go, guys. How do you correct commission and principal error? The same way. So this is error number 2. Alright. Now let's move on to error number 3. Error number 3 is the most interesting, where you have overlooked them completely. There was no recording of it at all. So this is called omission. How do you remember omission? It starts with O. O means 0. Unlike commission, alright, it starts with a C. It means it's a wrong account, right? And but same class, and this is omission. It is 0. Alright, so situation: no records have been made for drawing of goods costing 1,200. So there is no record of drawing of goods. So the error is it is not recorded. There is nothing there. How do you correct them? The easiest way is just record the actual transaction. So debit will go to drawings and the purchases will be at the credit side. Now why, some people might ask, why is drawing of goods is credit purchase? Because the goods originally comes with purchase. So it's like you are purchasing something for the company, right? But you have taken part of that purchase for your own use. So purchase was a debit, and when you take it, it becomes a credit. So credit purchases and debit drawings because it goes into your drawings. If you are still confused on the debits and credit, right, there is a video explaining this in posting to ledger accounts, right? And you will understand basically why a certain transaction is a debit and why a certain transaction is a credit, right? So this is error number 3. Let's go to the next error. This is called error of original entry. Now there are 2 types of original entry. The first one we will talk about overstating. Overstating means you have recorded higher than the original. Recorded higher than original. Overstate. Okay? So original entry error means it was a mistake made when you transfer the amounts of both details in the transaction. So look at the situation here. Sales made to Benson of 690, this is the correct one, however recorded as 960 in the books of account. So it is supposed to be 690, accidentally recorded as 960. So look at the error here where you put Benson 960 and sales 960. Now this is overstated. You know this is supposed to be lesser. So you need to find the differences, right? So you need to reverse the difference. How do you do this? Reversing the entry. So 960, you need to minus 690 and you get 270, and this 270 needs to be reversed. Alright, likewise, credit side as well, there is 270. When you need to reverse, the debit becomes credit, and the credit will become debit. So credit here, debit here. There you go, guys. This is how you correct overstated original entry, where you remove the overstated amount by reversing the debits and credit. Now there is another type of original entry where it is called understate. So in the original understate, it is recorded lower, under, okay, lower from the original. So when you record it lower from the original, look at the situation here. Postage expenses of 750, this is the correct amount, are paid by cash but recorded as 570. Now this is the wrong one. Now 750 is supposed to be the actual amount, but you have recorded lower, understate it, alright, at 570. Same thing here. You need to find the difference. So 750 minus 570, right? You need to make the same entry to record a plus. So 750 minus 570, it's 180. You need to plus 180 to 570. When you plus them, the debit must be debit. So debit and debit means plus. So 570 plus 180, that equals to 750. Same thing with cash, right? 570 add with 180, and then you will get 750. So now your postage expense will be 750 and your cash is also 750 in total. Done. Now let's look at the next one. This is called the error of complete reversal. So error of complete reversal, the debit and credit item is recorded in reverse, which means the debit becomes credit and the credit becomes debit. So look at the situation. This is very interesting, guys. Payment of 250 by check. So there is a payment of 250. It's supposed to be credit bank. Okay? Payment is received from, it's debit bank because you have received it from Spider-Man, means you are receiving it. So this is received by you. So you receive, and Spider-Man is somebody who owes you, right? So it will be credit Spider-Man. This is the actual transaction because he no longer owes you, so there is a credit Spider-Man and debit bank. But look at the error you have made, right? Instead of debit bank, you wrote credit bank, and instead of a credit Spider-Man, you debit Spider-Man. So this is called complete reversal. All you need to do is swap them, but if you swap them once, it becomes a 0. So you need to swap twice or times 2. So the transaction is showing money paid instead of being received. Reversing the entry once will neutralize the amount back to 0 like nothing ever happened. So you need to reverse the transaction twice, which resulted in doubling the amount. The first time you reverse to make it 0, and the second time you reverse is to record the 250 actual figure. So now you get back, right? It's debit bank, credit Spider-Man, and it becomes 500 instead of 250. So there you go, guys. These are the types of errors that are not revealed in the trial balance because these errors cause your trial balance to be balance. Right. Another one is called compensating error. This is not actually a type of error, but this is more on methods of correcting. Okay, so compensating error is not actually a type of error by norm. It is actually the methods of correcting errors, which are two errors. Okay, there are two errors which can be corrected simultaneously. Two errors are made which, in order to correct one error, could compensate the other error, because one error is debit and the other error is credit. Now I know it can sound a little bit complicated, but it's not really that complicated. So remember, two errors that are made, they are totally different types of errors. However, if you correct one of the error, right, it will be on the debit side and the other error will be on the credit side. Therefore, you can actually correct them simultaneously so you can compensate each other. Now look at this situation. Payment of electricity of 300 by cash is correctly entered in the cash book. So the cash is correct, but entered as 30 in the electricity account. So this is where the error goes wrong. Right? So there is a debit electricity while the cash is 300. So stick to the same rule. If it is correct, you don't touch them. Second error, discount allowed of 30 has been wrongly entered as 300 in the discount allowed. So it's the discount allowed that is wrong, but the trade receivable is correct. Okay, so it's the discount allowed that is wrong, but the trade receivable is correct. So again, if it is correct, you don't touch it. So that is only two that you need to correct, which is electricity. This is understated. And discount allowed is overstated. So you know, if it is understated, you need to plus, right? You need to plus 270 to make it 300. And this is overstated, means you need to minus 270 to make it 30. So when you need to plus, debit stays as debit, but when you need to minus, debit becomes credit. Okay, so now do not change what is correct. Like that. Apply the same knowledge of overstated and understated. Debit becomes debit. Add the other 270. 300 minus. So debit becomes credit now to minus 270. Now you have corrected compensating. You have compensated, right, these two errors against one and another. So this is how you correct them. So that's it for types of errors which are not revealed in the trial balance. Any question, please reach me or type in a comment and I will actually help you where I can. So thank you for watching. There is a part 2 where you will apply suspense account, correct your profit, and basically let's watch part 2 together.